Hey, welcome back to your favorite freaking TV show or YouTube show or whatever the heck this is. Jaws on Sports. Mike and Zach are back with you. Strangely enough, our last show was about a month ago, and we did not we completely skipped the NCAA basketball tournament. I don't have an explanation for that, um, because we had all the picks. You can take that to the bank. We picked them all. Um, Almost 100%. But anyway, congrats to Florida. I was really hoping Houston would win. They kind of sucked there right at the end, don't you think?
Got to shoot the ball.
Yeah, you got to get a shot up there. I don't care if it's, what kind of Hail Mary it is. You got to get a shot there at the end, and they did not get a shot at the end. Uh, when you don't get a shot at the end, it's time to go to the off season. So, yeah, congratulations to the Florida Gators. I already forget about this year's tournament because it seemed like the favorites won everything.
It wasn't March Madness. It was just the NCAA basketball tournament
Yeah,
this year,
pretty much.
which
Yeah,
is what it is.
no, that's okay. Let's see what's going on. Zach and I are going to be on location next. Next. No, wait a minute, that's not right. 2 weeks, about 2 weeks in Kansas City for UFC Fight Night. We're looking forward to that. That's not this weekend. It's the following weekend. This weekend's Easter and WrestleMania, and I will have our WrestleMania preview later this week. I don't expect you to have anything to do with that, but I kind of enjoy it.
Yeah, you go for that, buddy.
Yeah.
I think one of those is a lot more important than the other, for sure.
Well, yes, of course. Of course. But yeah, so we'll be in Kansas City for Fight Night on the 26th, I think it is, of April. So if you happen to be in town or going to Joe's or Gates Barbecue, come by and say hi. We will be there. We will be stuffing our face and we will be breaking down the action in the octagon. It's going to be fun.
Yeah, no one's gonna be there. We're a bunch of nobodies. We're two short white guys that just blend in. You
That's
know,
right, man.
we're kind of just there.
We're going to blend in. That's what we're going to. So anyway, tonight we're going to talk about the NBA playoffs, and the play-in games start tonight. Actually, first one, the Hawks and the Magic kicks off here in just a little bit. Before we talk about the playoffs, I just want to say one thing about these play-in games. I think they freaking suck. Okay, they've had 82 games. All right. And then they have this play-in. So you could be the seventh place team and have a record that's 5 or 6 games over 500 and end up losing to the team that came in 10th in the conference at a losing record, and they get into the rest of the playoffs and you have to go home. I don't know why they did this going back to the COVID year, other than I'm going to go ahead and say it. I think that it favored a team like the Lakers. Okay.
Yeah, absolutely. There's definitely that favoritism there. I think I saw the stat since 2021, the Lakers have the most fouls called for them. The NBA, it's it's silly. We
Yeah.
don't need, and like you said, even a couple games above 500, you have the I think the Warriors and the Grizzlies, if I'm not mistaken, they have 48 wins or something like that. I think so.
Yeah.
Um, I'm gonna check that real quick. I don't want to tell anyone something wrong. Yeah, so Grizzlies and Warriors are 48 and 34, and they aren't in the playoffs yet. They're in the invitational to make the playoffs and lose in the first round. So I think it's silly. We don't need it. I appreciate the NBA for trying new things and trying to make it interesting, but at a certain point, you just over engineer, and you don't need that. Go Falcons.
Yeah. To our viewers here, I've been I'm down a couple of my lights today, and my lighting sucks. But I'm doing some
Yeah, put back on the Air Force there.
Air Force one. How about this one here, man?
Oh,
Wait,
there you go.
all right.
Yeah, a handsome guy used his U.S. dollars to buy that hat.
Yeah, our
But
guy
anyway,
here, Zach, he worked for the Pirates, the Pittsburgh Pirates last summer. Had a heck of a time there.
nope, no, I didn't. Nope.
Or no, he didn't. Okay.
Yeah, I'm not very public about my life. I don't like people knowing what I'm doing. They might try to sabotage me or something. So
That's right. They might. Yeah, you just never know.
actually, I was working for the Cincinnati Reds, actually,
Yeah,
and
you're working for the Reds, and
yeah,
you when you were down in Cincinnati, you got picked me up this killer Pittsburgh Pirates hat.
all right, but
Yeah.
so interesting playoffs here. I've been watching more basketball the last 2 years than I have in a long time, just because OKC doesn't suck as bad, and during those couple of years where it was bad, like they didn't have any national TV games at all,
Hmm.
and it was just kind of hopeless there. But they did a good job rebuilding, like the 76ers did a couple years ago, and been watching more ball. I don't like the state of the NBA. Minimal defense, the touchy foul calls, all that. But playoff basketball tends to pick up pretty well. And there's some pretty high level basketball. And we'll see that in the play in games. These teams are fighting for a playoff spot. So we're going to see
Yeah.
big
Yeah.
performances from some of those guys like Sabonis and Steph and Morant. Expect them to have big games because they know it's on the line.
There's some heavy hitters in the playing game. The freaking Golden State Warriors, they played the Memphis Grizzlies tonight. And I think that if you're a Warriors fan, there's a lot of them out there the last decade who jumped on the bandwagon. Um, your boy Draymond Green really screwed that up. He just chills out, dunks the ball and doesn't do anything stupid there in the last couple minutes. They're not in a, you know, ride or die playing game. But
Yeah.
yeah, it is what it is.
Well,
Um,
they got Jimmy, though. They got Jimmy Buckets. And I don't know how much of a difference that's going to make in this year's playoffs because the West is so tough. They might not
mhm.
even win today, but I think if he's in the right mindset and they're meshing pretty well at this point, I think that they can do some damage.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, the thing is when you get to these when you get into the playoffs, I think that we've seen this over the years. The NBA playoffs are a grind. The cream almost always rises to the top. The best team usually wins, um, unless you're the Lakers and you get a lot of calls. I don't like the Lakers. I never did. They don't like
Mm,
me either, so it evens out. But um, when you're in these play-on games, this is one game here. That's all you got. Um, Now, if you're in the seventh or eighth place, the loser of that game plays the winner of the ninth and tenth seed. So you do get like a second chance. Um, but you don't want to do that. You want to get to the first round where you got a series. One bad game's no big deal. Here, bad game and you're screwed.
yeah.
Um, but it's going to be interesting to see how Golden State comes out. I fully expect them to win this game, but that Ja Morant guy, he could go for 50 in this one and just be nuts out there.
Yeah, he's a shooter for sure.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, that went over your head. That's okay. He
No, I know he's a shooter. I know what you're talking about.
yeah.
Yeah.
He's interesting fella. But yeah, fun game at 10 p.m. tonight. So if you can't sleep, that one's on. We got Trey Young, Sooner legend, not really. Kind of sucked at OU, lost first round, doesn't matter. He is a great basketball player, doesn't get enough love. But the Orlando Magic have a great theme song, and they have Paulo Banchero. This just kind of shows you, though, the strength of the West. It's typically the West, right?
Yeah.
years here and there where it's been the East, but if we're just looking at these silly playing games, you got the Grizzlies, Warriors, and on the other side you got the Hawks and the Magic. So it's it's interesting. None of these teams have a shot,
Well, look
really.
at this tomorrow. I'm looking at tomorrow's schedule. You got the ninth and tenth place games in the East. You got the freaking Heat and the Bulls. Okay, let's see. I'm looking at the Heat. The Heat were 37 and 45. The Bulls were 39 and 43. They shouldn't be fighting for a playoff spot.
No, no, not at
Just
all. I
not.
mean, what we're talking about here is 2/3 of the NBA are in the postseason.
Yeah,
That's crap.
it is crap,
And
especially after 82 games. You know.
I mean, 82 games, that corrects itself, right? You played 82 games. You found out who the best teams are, and just keep it at 7 and 8. One plays 8, two plays 7, and so on. We don't need these games. I think they're silly, but just analyzing them. Tomorrow's games, the Bulls got Josh Giddey, OKC fourth quarter legend, and I think they'll get the job done there. And um,
He
we
is a,
got the
he was an OKC four-quarter legend. I'll give
He
him
was, man. He turned it
100%.
on. He
Yeah,
turned it on in the fourth.
yeah,
He just
he did.
didn't fit in his role in Boomtown, and that's okay.
Oh, yeah.
But
Yeah.
the Mavs and the Kings could be interesting. The Mavs have had total downturn after Luca
Is,
left.
is Anthony Davis even active for this game?
I don't
He
know.
he's only played like 6 or 7 games since he was traded.
Well, that's the Anthony Davis experience, though. Um, it says he's game time, so
Okay.
he'll probably play. But I think Sabonis on the Kings. I think that um, he's gonna have a big game. He's awesome. He's a really good player. I wish OKC held on to him. But
Yeah, yeah, he's a heck of a player there.
if
Uh,
there's one team I could see actually winning a series and stealing it, it's the Kings for some reason. Because they're kind of unassuming, but they have those guys that can get it done.
yeah, the Kings were more flashy last year. They had a heck of a season last year. They were very middle of the road this year, 40 and 42.
Mhm.
I just I don't like that, you know. Um, Adam Silver, Kamish need to get rid of this play-in crap for next year.
Yeah,
If a team can't prove itself over 82 games, they shouldn't get a one-off chance to make the playoffs. Uh,
no.
but hey, if you are a fan of the Mavs, the Kings, the Heat, the Bulls, any of these play-in games, then man, you are good to go. And I know a lot of people are going to be watching the Warriors with bated breath tonight.
Yeah, it's gonna be a good game though. That's gonna be a game 7 type of feel in the circumstance that isn't that serious for the rest of the fans in the league. But for those two teams tonight on that court, it's a big deal.
Yeah, yeah.
But if we're actually looking at the setup matchups, we can just start in the East because I'm more excited about the West. But Cavs are the 1 seed; they play whoever. But Pacers Bucks is interesting because
Hmm.
he really wanted Damian Lillard to come in. They haven't meshed very well, and the Pacers are they're kind of just stuck. They're just on you all the time. And they don't have anyone that really sticks out. They got Halliburton, who's on that Team USA team, so he's obviously really good. But the Bucks have just had too much trouble internally, and there's multiple teams that have zero shot in the playoffs because of that. And one
Yeah.
of them is the Grizzlies, other is the Nuggets, but I'd say the Bucks too, because as good as Giannis is, I just think all the trouble that they've had, I don't think in 7 games they're going to win a series this year.
Yeah, I don't think so. And we look back, you mentioned obviously the Nuggets who fired their coach and general manager with 3 freaking games, or was it 2 weeks left in the season, something insane like that. Uh, they won a championship recently. The Bucks won a championship recently. The next season they fired their coach. It used to be in professional sports, if your team won the championship, then as the coach of front office, you got kind of a mulligan there for at least 4 or 5 years. That's long gone. But the Bucks have kind of fallen off. I mean, with Giannis, they are definitely capable of beating anybody any given night, but that sure doesn't mean they're going to win a 7 game series.
No, absolutely not.
Yeah.
So I see them getting bounced first round, and people in Milwaukee are going to try to forget about this season.
Well,
Um,
Milwaukee's got, I've been to Milwaukee one time. They got an awesome downtown. You can't go there in the wintertime because they got like 10 feet of snow and it's 1,000 degrees below zero. But um, they got a great downtown. The beer will be flowing. They'll forget about it tomorrow. They'll be fine.
Moving on to the Knicks and the Pistons. It's funny seeing Detroit turn it around because when I grew up, it was the 76ers, like I brought up, who sucked.
Yeah.
But eventually, you get all those top five picks, and your team becomes pretty good. And
Yeah.
that's what happened to the Pistons. Oklahoma State, Kate Cunningham, he's really led them this year. The Knicks are weird, man, because they've been kind of cursed as a franchise. And I could see this series.
I can talk about that for hours, man, going back way back in time. Yeah, Patrick Ewing days. Uh, just happened to be at the same time as some guy named Jordan that played for North Carolina and the Bulls. Um, yeah, the Knicks 50. I'm looking at their record, 51-31 this year. They made some strides. This looks like it could be a heck of a series. It could go either way. I do like the Knicks here. Um, Madison Square Garden, the place is lit up. Might be kind of fun.
It's a fun series, but what I think is going to happen is the Knicks are going to come out swinging. They might win the first two games, and then you're going to get that hype going. It's like the Cowboys, we're winning the Super Bowl. Every time the Knicks they win one playoff game, their fans are saying it's ours this year. So
Oh,
weirdly enough, I
yeah.
could see the Pistons winning this in 6 or 7 games. And the winner of this series doesn't matter. They'll lose to the Celtics, but
Yeah, yeah.
I
I
don't trust them.
this man, the Celtics, I tell you. For a team that won the championship last year and all they did this year was win 61 games. They have definitely flown under the radar. I don't know how. Um, they're not a flip a switch team, okay? They're steady, they're solid. They actually had I'm looking at their record now. They actually had a better away record this year than their home record, which that's bizarre. That doesn't happen. But you gotta to like the Celtics. We're not quite there yet with our picks, but um, you got Cleveland at the top of the Eastern Conference, had a heck of a year with a whole bunch of young guys, and you got the Celtics who have stars all over the place. They've got guys off the bench hitting 40 points. Um, they got championship pedigree, and not just that, they've been there not just last year, they've been there the last few years. They got uh, between Jaylen Brown, Jason Tatum, and a couple of the best players in the NBA. Full stop right there. Yeah. Second round, whomever makes it out, Pistons and Knicks going to get destroyed by Boston, probably a sweep.
I mean, you got, like you said, you got Al Horford, you got Peyton Pritchard. Like, those guys can go out and score 30 off
Al
the bench.
Horford. Oh my God.
And it's ridiculous. And
I got something for you real quick. You know that Al Horford played for the Florida Gators that won the back-to-back national championships 2007, 2008.
I wasn't aware of that until I saw a social media on it.
And
That
the dude is still around playing. He's 38 or 39 years old. It's one thing with LeBron, okay? He's a freak. Let's be honest, he's a freak. But Al Horford, I remember watching him at Florida, and he was just this big dude. Okay, he ate up the glass. He got the lunch pail points, the putbacks. He played the dirty boxing basketball down there in the paint. And he's crafted a great career and he's still a pretty darn good player. He scores, he blocks, he does whatever he needs to do. And 6'11", uh, just makes a difference out there. It's Just crazy. They got all these dudes.
Well, you got crazy thing about him is on the perimeter. This dude
Yeah.
can hit threes. So Celtics are a total nightmare, and I don't think they're favorites just because I really do like the Cavs this year. But I'm gonna go crazy with having a 1 and a 2 seed in the Eastern Conference Finals because it just I think those really are the best teams, and the best team doesn't always win over a 7 game series, but
Yeah. Yeah.
should be interesting. On the West, what a year for the Western Conference! A lot of great teams. Um, got the playing games. We don't necessarily know how a couple of these series will look, but the Rockets, I like the Rockets a lot because they're young and they're playing really well together. They're kind of
Mhm.
like OKC is in that sense. They play pretty free. They got some dudes that make spectacular plays, and they've had some big time wins this year. I like them a lot. I really do. I think the Rockets at least are a shoe in for the first round. Um,
Yeah, it should be. Yeah.
depending on if you run into Steph Curry and he averages 38 points per game.
Well,
So,
yeah, that's a interesting way of looking at it because like Warriors Grizzlies tonight, seventh and eighth place games. So whoever wins that game gets the Rockets in the first round. And I tell you, I don't think that the Warriors are a team that can go the distance this year. Yeah, they can beat anybody with Curry. Curry can go off for 50 points. Jimmy Bucket's out there. But 7 game series against a team like Houston, potentially um, just a great second round. Oklahoma City, possibly in the conference finals. I don't think that they can make it. I just think the road's too much. It's just too much for them at this point. But that'd be a heck of a first round with Houston and Golden State. That'd be fun
yeah,
to watch.
that's a 4-5 matchup in a slot. That's 2 versus 7. That's a
Yeah,
really good there.
yeah,
Uh, if we move up to the Lake Show here, so Lake Show is kind of like the Cowboys too, and like I brought up the Knicks. They're gonna win every year. LeBron's MVP. He's in year 28 or whatever it is, and he's the best ever. And they kind of flop in the playoffs as of late. They either make it to the conference finals or they get swept in the first round. And playing against the Timberwolves, got Jaden McDaniels, they got Ant, and Ant's been shooting threes like a madman. I think he has the most threes made this season.
yeah. I think he
So
does. Yeah,
this is a guy that can take over games. And I watch OKC games a lot, but I haven't seen this since Kobe was playing. It's a Tuesday night, and the Wolves are playing. I don't know. They're playing the Kings, and I'm like, I'm gonna tune in for a quarter to watch Ant.
yeah,
Like,
yeah. The guy is that good, and he's that kind of dynamic to watch. And this is a very interesting series here, and props to the Lakers for somehow getting Luka out there. I don't know how the hell that happened. I don't know what the Mavericks were thinking. I'm sure Mark Cuban was freaking out, although he's not the governor of the team anymore. Um, the Lakers with LeBron, Luka, and our Oklahoma boy Austin Reeves, who I never in my wildest dreams thought he would even make an NBA team, much less be a star on the freaking Lakers. Good Lord. Um, it's it's a little bit different this year. Without Luca, if Anthony Davis was there, uh, everything else the same. I think that Minnesota wins the series in 6. I just don't know what the heck's going to happen. It's well known that I listen to ESPN radio on the way to work, and sometimes they call me to ask me what I think about stuff. Okay, in the morning, and if you believe that. Um, but one of the things that caught my attention a few weeks back when they were talking about Luca with the Lakers. It's kind of like you get a shiny new toy, and it's like, wow, this is the coolest thing ever. And then you play with it for 2 weeks, and then it kind of sucks. And before you know it, it gets stepped on or tossed in the back of the closet or something like that. The point of the story was this: you don't get too involved on this kind of glitzy glam jump that the Lakers had with Luka toward the end of the season. It's probably not gonna last, and we'll see in these 7 game series how it goes. LeBron, obviously, he continues to play at an elite level. Um, just uh, tons of respect to the guy for doing what he's doing in year 20. I would much rather see Minnesota win this series. I know the NBA doesn't want Minnesota to win this series. They want the Lakers to win and to keep winning. And for you conspiracy theorists out there, I'm not talking about the refs, okay? It's just the Lakers draw eyeballs into the sport. That's fine. I'd rather see Minnesota win. Um, Gosh, in this spot, it's hard to pick against the Lakers. I do think the Lakers win this one in 6.
I think we all want the Wolves to win, but wanting them to win versus what's going to happen. My one thing is I've been griping about Luka Doncic because he's such an elite talent, but he is such a terrible teammate and basketball player. Like he's just better than a lot of guys, but the way that he just doesn't get back on defense, doesn't play defense, he just complains to the refs after plays. I hate that so much. And it really gets me going because he's so good. He doesn't need to do that crap. And I remember seeing that the Celtics last year, they targeted him when they were on offense. They're like, we're going at him because he doesn't play defense. Or
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
we're in transition. We go because he's going to be standing there talking to the ref, like, hey, why did I not get this call? Hate that so much. If he can dial in, he won't. But if he could, then just play basketball. Lakers are hard to beat. But
Yeah,
LeBron, LeBron's not going to win the finals. He's not going to win series. It's going to have to be guys like Austin Reeves that push them over. It's always the role players in the playoffs because you have the superstars and you try to shut them down. But I agree. I'm taking the Lakers in that first round. I really like watching Ant play, but I could see it. I could see it going that way. This is either Lakers win with ease or the Timberwolves just get in their face and bully them the whole series. But I'm taking the Lakers.
yeah. I think you got to take the Lakers there as much as I really don't want to. Going back to when I was a kid, I enjoyed the Showtime Lakers with Kareem, Worthy, Magic, and those guys. Um, but I always wanted to see him get beat, you know,
Yeah, me too.
and that's continued. Even through the Kobe Shaq time. Um,
Yeah,
yeah,
but if we move up, got two more here. Clippers, Nuggets. Clippers. I don't trust them just because of Kawhi Leonard. I think if Russ, he's been the second best player on the Nuggets this year, and he's gotten a
yeah,
lot of.
yeah.
Come back to OKC if you want. Doors open. But um, my thing, you put Russ on Kawhi and just have him body him for the first game. Kawhi's gonna have a sprained pinky or something, and he'll be out for 2 years. So I think if you get Russ and you let him be physical on ball defense on Kawhi, they can't do anything because he likes to go to the center of the paint, pull up, take that little jump shot there. Russ is going to get in his face. Then you got the best player in the world, Jokic, who's going to go out there and average 20 assists and 28 points this series. That's just what he does. You got Christian Braun. You got Michael Porter. Christian Braun, I don't know if it's Brown or Braun, but played at Kansas. Elite talent, kind of like a Austin Reeves kind of guy, just knock down shots, unselfish kind of guy. I can't pick Kawhi Leonard to win a playoff series at this stage. I just can't. I think that the Nuggets, like I said, best player in the world. He's had one of the best seasons ever. It's it's going to carry over. Even though their coach quit on them, I think that the Nuggets are good for one series. I think, like I said earlier, there's a couple teams that have no shot of winning the whole thing. The
Hmm.
Nuggets are one of those, but they can win this series.
Yeah, just kind of a crappy deal there with how it went down with the general manager and the coach so late in the season. But I, it, man, I bet against Jokic in Denver quite a bit in the last few years, and definitely I was I was betting against them when they won the championship, and I think they're good for a series. It's going to be interesting to see what James Harden does. Okay, James Harden, I think he's 36 now. He's still scoring at an elite level. He never did play defense, but the guy can score. This could be a seven game series, I think, but I do think that the Nuggets are going to win.
You know what? You talk 7 games. You know I'm taking in Game 7. I'm taking Jokic over
Yeah,
anybody.
me too, 100%.
Anybody in the NBA.
So we got about 5 minutes left in our show here. And so, yeah, the NBA playoffs are a grind. I mean, I remember TBS years ago. I don't know if they still do this, but when they would have uh, the show with Ernie and Shaq and Kenny Smith and Sir Charles Barkley, they'd had the 40 games and 40 nights playoffs, and it's crazy. I mean, the winning team, if they're one of the play-in teams, you could potentially play 30 freaking games in the playoffs to win. Probably won't ever happen, but you could do that. And it's 40% of a regular season. So it's a grind. I'm sure that we'll have another show in 3 weeks or something. They'll still be in the second round.
Yeah. Well, there's that, but we gotta touch on OKC real
Oh
quick.
yeah, we're not done yet, but we gotta talk. We got a few minutes left here to talk about the Thunder. And the Thunder, I think going back to last year, they were the number one seed. They were probably a year ahead. They got bounced in the playoffs by the Mavericks, who seem to be their nemesis. The Mavericks definitely aren't anymore. Uh, you got chaos with the Nuggets. You got 75-year-old LeBron James still doing his thing. Um, I tell you this, and my brother and I have been talking about this a lot. Actually, we chatted about this today. The Thunder play defense better than anybody has seen in a long time. They have the depth, and I think they have the best player in Shea Gilgeous-Alexander.
Yeah, I mean they play defense, and that's the key, right? I mean they're so efficient on defense. They go for steals, they close out, they crash the boards. A lot of teams don't do that. They get back in transition when they miss on offense, and it's just unselfish basketball. It's a team that plays for each other instead of just themselves and a paycheck, which is refreshing to see. It's a bunch of young guys out there just having fun. And it's been a blast to just watch them on a Thursday night this year. And I haven't had that much fun watching one of my teams in a long time. And OKC, it's fun to watch them play. Forget wins and losses, just the style of basketball, ball movement. They take mid-range shots in the paint. They drive, they dunk on people, they throw lobs, they back people down, they hit the threes, they do everything. They play basketball,
Yeah,
and
the other thing this particular season, which is important, is that they are healthy, man.
they are.
Especially
And
with some of the big guys like Hardenstein and Chet Holmgren.
yeah,
Um, 2 7-footers down there with all that talent around them, all the depth that they have. They keep coming at you in waves. Um,
yeah,
it's very impressive what they do. It's kind of like this. I kind of compare them to how Duke makes a crappy team look during the regular season. They throw yeah, 10 guys deep out there, and their 10th guy is better than all of your starters. They just keep coming, keep coming, keep coming. And, the Thunder do that. They've had a hell of a season. I think they took the foot off the brakes just a little bit there at the end. I think they probably could have got 70 wins, but that doesn't mean anything. We've seen a 70 win team lose in the championships before at Golden State. So here's my last thing. We only got like a minute left. Uh, in the NBA, unless you're the Lakers or the Celtics, okay, it's now. It ain't next season. The time is now. And I just quoted John Cena. I'm going to get struck by lightning. I know that. Uh, but this is it. And it's possible that Thunder have a window here. But if this team was the Lakers or the Celtics, they would be a huge, huge favorite. But since
Yeah.
they're the Thunder, there's lots of people out there that are kind of saying, well, it's Oklahoma City, you know?
Well, my thing is, it's just the depth everywhere. It's the ability to play both ways. And you got guys. This is what killed OKC last year. Is they stopped Luca, they stopped Kyrie, but it's the role players. OKC with their bench players and their off-ball players or off-ball defense, if they can stop those guys getting in the corner, getting down low, that their names aren't as widely known, then
Hmm.
they're going to win a lot. And got guys like Case and Wallace, Jalen Williams has had a great year, uh, first first time All Star, and all these guys on the bench, Aaron Wiggins, Isaiah Joe, who's automatic from three. You know, they got all the pieces this year. Can they put it together for 16 wins? We'll see. Just a fun brand of basketball to watch. The win or lose it was a great season for them. Personally, I think they're going to lose in the conference finals this year, but they do have that experience. Um, that's really going to help them this year, I think. But
Yeah.
as great as they've been, I just don't think it's their time just yet. Sadly.
Well, we'll see. We'll circle back to this here in a few weeks, but we're gonna wrap it up for tonight. Again, we'll see you in Kansas City on the 26th for UFC fights. I'll be back later in the week with the WrestleMania 41 preview. I know you can't wait for that. And hey, you got Mike, you got Zach. We are Jaws on Sports, and we're here to make you smile. Have a good night, folks.